Greetings. This is the start of a video series on me completing this 1993 Kitfox Model 4 1200. I just recently purchased this. Well, it's been about a year ago. I finally got the time to start working on it from a really good buddy of mine. And I went up and hauled it and several other aviation projects down. But this one is true to my heart. And I'm just starting to get into it. Let's start at the beginning here. The working into the airplane. This is a brand new Mazda conversion rotary 12A single rotor. Produces about 125 horsepower. On this Kitfox, it ought to really perform well. But this was a kit that was put together and sold by a company out of Canada years ago called Duncan Aircraft. And unfortunately, he's died now, but it sounds like his son might pick up the ball and start rolling with it again. I did make contact with him, and it sounds like he's pretty excited about doing that. But you can see he did a really very nice professional job on the conversion on this. There's an airflow performance fuel injection starter. If you look down there and you see that red, that is part of the laser pickup for the timing. Those ports there for the cooling. This on top here is actually the oil cooler. And I have a similar radiator, a little bit bigger, for the water cooling, which of course would hang down below. And I'm trying to figure out a scoop setup. I've got some ideas on that, to ram air through that. Here's your fuel pump setup, dual pumps. This is where the exhaust comes out, and that plate is a welding plate basically. I can weld on whatever I want onto that and then run it down below and out back for exhaust. The reduction drive unit is very sturdy and healthy. Everything has really been machined, exacting, very nice. And we go to the other side of the motor here. Little remote filter setup. That's for generating power back for your battery. There's your coils. That is the ignition setup, Mallory. Really quite the little motor. Not complicated. I'm real excited about it. Definitely excited about the horsepower it's going to put out. Should make this Kitfox just jump off the ground and just soar. When these things first came out, the ones and the twos and such, they were putting 582s in them, the old Rotax two-strokes. And they were flying okay. I understood that they didn't perform that well, but they did fly. And this one here, being the 1200, should be a little bit wider cockpit and a little bit more of an airplane. But with twice the horsepower, there's going to be no question that it's going to perform. This is the stock gear on it, other than it has larger tires. And I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to build something similar to a Monster landing gear setup with the nicer shocks and all that. I want it a little bit taller, and then I'll have a little bit different tail wheel assembly, you know, bringing the whole thing up just a little bit higher. Really more of a Stoll style aircraft and backwoods kind of stuff. That's something I've done in the past, and it's just a lot of fun. So as we walk around, I'll have some seat cushions made and customized and all that. You can see in the back of the aircraft with the stringers for the form of the airplane and everything. There's your turtle deck glass. And I did start laying out just an initial plan of how I want this panel to look. And I just got started on that, so I got a ways to go on that and make my decisions on it. But you can kind of get a feel. If you've seen a Kitfox before, which I'm sure you have, they're very similar. Very similar the way they're laid out. Very well built aircraft. Been around 40 plus years. I think it'd be really hard pressed to go against a Kitfox. They're very nice. But either way, I started this conversation with getting this from a good friend of mine. We lived across from each other in another state, and we had a 1,200-foot runway that we maintained and shared together. And we had a lot of people coming in, and we'd go out, had ultralights there, had people coming in Cubs. He even took I think it was a 150 or 172, and then landed and took off. And so it was pretty neat to have and enjoy. And I've known this character over 30 years, and he's been a really good friend of mine. It's a joy and a privilege that I'm able to get this aircraft and finish it. It really is. I always admired it through the years. I helped him in the beginning work on it. And I'm just very excited to finish it up and have the joy of flying it. So, like with a lot of people have named their aircrafts, you know, Freedom Fox and Firefox and Farm Fox and this and that, because of my relationship and how I acquired the aircraft. I'm going to call this the Friendship Fox. I think that's an appropriate name for it. And then in the N number that I've already reserved for it, 2 of the letters in the N number are the 2 first letters of our names. And I'll explain that later, and I'll give you the N number later. But it sounds really good. It slips off the tongue very easily, and it should sound great on the radio. It actually should be pretty good. So I'm going to be messing around, doing a few different things, getting the panel together, getting the electrical, and getting everything hooked up. But the first thing on my list is to finish the plumbing and the exhaust on this and get everything ready for initial starting and running. Now at the factory, when they built this, they ran this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they were very satisfied, and then they release it. They sign them off and release them for delivery to the new purchaser. So this thing has ran, and everything was checked off. It's been a long time. You know, this has been in a climate-controlled shop for years, actually. So that's why it's in such good shape. It's not like it's been outside and, you know, and had all the climate and the elements attack it. It hasn't been. It's been babied. So this ought to come together pretty good. But once I feel secure about this firewall forward and everything working there, then I'll proceed and go, you know, back and really start finishing some of the other things. And it should be pretty quick. The wings are already covered. They've been wired for the strobe lights and the marking lights and all that. And they're pretty much just ready to paint, as is the fuselage, as you can see. Just need to put it in silver and then start picking out my color schemes. So all that will go, I like to say, fast. You know how it is, though. Once you think you're halfway done, you got 80-90% to go. And this isn't my first project. I've built a few aircraft, rebuilt aircraft, painted aircraft, recovered wings, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not total greenhorn. And I'm kind of particular about how I go about things, and I like things to be exact and nice. So it takes me longer. It takes me longer. It's okay. I mean, to me, building stuff and the joy of that is really more fun for me. I love to fly, don't get me wrong, but I love to build stuff and create things. And I think a lot of builders are the same way in aviation. They get a kick out of building stuff, and then watching it fly is just a miracle. It's a joy. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I think I'll go ahead and I'll sign off on this first video. I'm going to be putting more videos on as I go, so please watch. I'd appreciate that. I do have this YouTube channel, and I'm not doing this for, you know, numbers on my YouTube channel or anything, that kind of stuff at all. I'm just doing it because I think folks would be interested. I know other Kitfox people will probably be interested in progress. And, you know, anybody has any suggestions on this particular model, or any Kitfox for that matter, or ideas, or even concerns, feel free to contact me. I'm going to put the contact information right on the videos, and it'd be a joy to hear from you. It's a unique group of people that do this kind of stuff, and it's a lot of fun to be able to have discussions and talk about different ideas and improvements especially. Okay, good enough. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.